Thanks for listening to the only locally owned and operated radio station in Tallahassee, 93.3. Thanks for being a member of Warchant.com. Thanks for supporting the Jeff Cameron Show. Thanks for watching on YouTube, the feed there that you belong to, has subscribed to. We appreciate that very much. Hello to everybody in the chat. How you guys doing? Brandon, thanks for listening. Appreciate you on the commute and listening to the show as you get stuff done around the house. I like the picture where people are when they consume the content that is the Jeff Cameron Show, right? I do. I sometimes wonder, are you on a treadmill? Are you running? You working out? You got your little earbuds in, taking in the show? Hello to you. Are you gardening? Sucks for you if you are. It's 150 plus gardening sucks no matter what the weather is. Are you driving? Did you get stuck having to go somewhere over a holiday weekend, which is not easy? You're on the highways and byways of Tallahassee and in the state of Florida. Brother, hang in there. Exercise the level of patience necessary. It's tough to do. I just drove here and said, what is going on? Thousands of cars everywhere. Are all of you leaving town listening to this show currently? I think the answer is yes. It takes me in the neighborhood of 15 minutes to get here every day. And today, a little bit more. I thought, you sons of bitches need to leave. I'm tired of all of this. I had kind of gotten into a comfortable groove when the students are gone, which we all as adults celebrate, that when the kids leave for the summer, even if you forgot what day that was happening, you're reminded by the dearth of cars. You're like, oh, there's nobody here. Oh, that's right. They're all gone. Yay. It becomes navigable. You're able to get around and you're just like, this is amazing. I never want the kids to come back, meaning students. When FSU and FAMU and Tallahassee State College or whatever the hell they call themselves now, when they're all gone, life's a lot easier. But today it felt like they were all back in town simultaneously.
Yeah, the lights were a little different too. I wonder if they programmed the traffic lights for the holidays already. The way I come from downtown, there's a synchronicity, and things downtown were fine, but once you get closer to Monroe, the timing changed. And I like to live by, it's almost like a great wristwatch. Butch, this watch. And I got to the light in Monroe. I'm thinking, well, we're going. Yeah, that's right. He'd be damned. Waiting at the light an extra 30, 45 minute. I'm like, whoa, what's going on here, Monroe? Get it together. Same thing at the light for the station. That usually flips over at a certain time, and it was 90 seconds late. Well, it's because there are tons of cars on Monroe Street. They're all leaving. And good. Get out of here, because that means that for those of us that stay, we might have to drive around tomorrow or Saturday. It's going to be an extra pleasant city to live in. It'll be very nice.
I'm going to dive right in here because I see Wesley in the chat brought it up. And first he said, y'all have a safe and happy 4th. I appreciate that, Wesley. You do the same. But then right after good afternoon, sirs, from Dave, Wesley chimed back in and said, if you haven't watched the most recent episode of The Climb, check it out. Yeah, that's something. If you haven't watched the latest episode of The Climb, it's a little uncomfortable because the copy in which my old friend TC from way, way back in the day, the early beginnings of radio for me, the copy that he has to voice over for this latest edition of The Climb is, I mean, you talk about state-run media. Holy moly. It begins with this premise that Tommy Castellanos is an elite quarterback, something he's never been, not even close. He's largely sucked as a quarterback in college football. Yet if you listen to the latest edition of The Climb, he might be the second coming of Charlie Ward. Maybe, perhaps. There's no compelling evidence to that end so far in his career, but perhaps it is so. They clearly expect him to be elite this year, judging by the copy TC was forced to read at gunpoint for the latest edition of The Climb. There isn't an ounce of truth in the descriptors used to describe Tommy Castellanos' quarterbacking skills thus far in his career. And this is not a hit piece by yours truly trying to discredit Tommy Castellanos. I want him to be great. I'm rooting for him to be great. I hope the glowing attributes they apply to Castellanos, the quarterback, so far in his career in this latest edition of The Climb turn out to be true. For if they are, it'll be the first time ever in his college football career that it is so. That was interesting. I'm just going to put it that way. A lot of pressure on him to be described in that way. It's in-house. They're not going to produce a video in which they say, we're crossing our fingers. You know, they're not going to do that. They're going to prop up the players, and I'm fine with that. It's just a reminder of, you know, what it is. In-house. It's not accurate. It is hopeful. In a way that is, in my mind, a little unreasonable. But I like that he's brimming with confidence. I like that he feels like he's where he needs to be. I like that Gus is excited to utilize his skill set as a runner, because I think that's the only place in which you could describe Tommy Castellanos as unique. It's certainly not as a passer. And if you want to argue with me on this, that's fine, but go look at his numbers for each of the last 2 years. You're not going to describe them as a passer anywhere near the word elite. It's not so. Maybe he was in a system that didn't work for him each of the last 2 years. Maybe it's that the best is yet to come. That's all fair. I'm not being hateful. I'm not sliding to slight. I'm saying that the way he's described in The Climb, juxtaposed to the way he's played in college football, does not match up. It's interesting. A little uncomfortable, a little over the top. But hey, maybe, just maybe, here with better players in a system that is going to be built and centered around his assets as a runner, maybe it becomes the best year of his career and something akin to elite level college quarterback play. Maybe. I'm not ruling it out. It just hasn't happened yet in any way, shape, or form at any point in his college career. That's not to suggest he hasn't had moments. We saw it with our own two eyes in which you thought, this kid's a problem. This is annoying. His ability to evade the rush and make guys miss in open space, prolong a play that was long ago blown up, it was unique and on display several times over the last couple of years. We have seen him do that. It's just that he's never consistently thrown the ball well at all, and he's been a turnover machine. So he's got to cut way back on the turnovers. He's got to become more accurate as a passer, and they have to go all in on his legs. And I think they're going to. So there really is the possibility of Tommy Castellanos becoming not only the best version of himself, but certainly having the best single season in his career by a lot. It's possible. And so that's a little bit more of a balanced discussion. I should know better that when I click on The Climb, I'm not going to get that. But I also know that you guys aren't stupid. So you're not brainwashed, right? You can watch that and go, okay, all right, I got it. That's all I'm saying. It's a little much.
Well, I think it'd be fair to say at this point, though, that whatever Florida State has seen in the offseason and in spring camp, somebody's got to sign off on this. I mean, who's writing the copy? Like the head of the boosters who's trying to sell tickets, or does Mike Norvell have final say on what is released? And so if this is a message that you're okay with being released, that tells me that whatever they're seeing behind the scenes is they think that this could take off for Tommy, because otherwise it would be negligence and you're just setting yourself up for a big crash. So maybe the confidence is coming from a founded place of whatever they saw in the spring and whatever they've seen in the summer workouts, because this wasn't released in March. This was released yesterday. You had a lot of time to take in a lot of data about what Tommy's first 6 months on campus has been like. Maybe they really like what they saw that much.
Perhaps. How? They're not playing football. He had a spring. The entire offensive line was missing for much of said spring. It was an install. He had many practices in which they didn't have their starting receivers on the field. What did he do that everybody's like, oh my God?
Well, I can't answer that, but they clearly they okayed this. They okayed the segment. I mean, it was about 6 minutes.
They did. I think it's to sell tickets. I think you hit it on the head.
Really?
I think it's to sell tickets.
Well, then we got problems.
Well, no, it doesn't mean he won't be good. It doesn't mean he can't have the best year of his career. It doesn't mean they won't go all in on utilizing his skill set. I think they're still at 43% seats sold for West chairback seats. They need to generate some interest in folks selling some seats. I don't know. You know, I think you're appealing to the people that are on the verge of pulling the trigger, but haven't yet, because they can't get past 2-10. It's expensive. I don't know, babe. I'm hearing Castellanos is whooping ass every day in Tallahassee. Maybe we should get these tickets.
I've got a real problem if this was put together and scripted as a ploy to help push an extra 10% ticket sales over the finish line. That I can't, honestly.
10%? They're less than 50% sold in that section.
Who is going to be pushed over the finish line by that segment? My point would be that's, maybe
somebody who wants to believe.
It's a marginal gain. I'm as cynical as they come. I think
Tom, what could they have seen that would cause anybody to write that? Come on. In the face of the actual games that he's played in college, you're going to write that?
Well, okay. So did you write a script for Deuce to go say what he said too?
No, because Deuce is talking about the athleticism, and it's, it's funny that he says what he says, but he's talking about how athletic Castellanos is. I think that's what he's trying to say. He's trying to say that there are throws that he makes while he's scrambling that are, not customary. You don't see a lot of those kinds of throws. I don't think he's talking about Tommy Castellanos' accuracy or something like that. I don't think that's what he's referencing. I think that a lot of the guys, including every one of the receivers who came here, need to believe in Tommy. They need to believe that whatever relationship they're forging is going to allow for a special level of football to be played this fall. I'm okay with that. Players very rarely have a real good understanding of what the entirety of a scout is for a player. They just know the guy they practice with. Is he a dog or is he not? Does he work hard? Can we win with him? They're not going to get into the minutia of the way that they're assessed and processed in the scouting world as a quarterback. They're going to say, can we win with this guy? Because I think he really does special things in space. He's fast. He's agile. He's elusive. And, that allows plays to be extended. And I get to be a big-time playmaker in an offense like this if, in fact, he plays that way. So I'm excited about him. They're not looking back at how he played at BC 2 years ago.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of these shows, especially at Florida State, because Jimbo let the clutter in when he brought in a season with.
Showtime, I think it was, right? Yeah.
A lot of these segments, if they're talking about a season preview, they will bring you to the question of the potential, but they won't speak effusively like this. Like, this looked different. This felt different than many other segments. So
I thought so too. It's why I wanted to comment on it when we had Wes comment on it. I'm like, whoa, this brings me right to my point. Here we go.
To me, it's either they truly believe that this thing's about to take off and watch what happens here when you put him with somebody who builds something around him with better athletes.
And I'll concede to you. I just want to reiterate this, Tom, because I know how these clips go. I'll concede that we could get something that is much better than what we've seen from Tommy Castellanos in the past. We may get something this year that's much better than what we've seen from him each of the last 2 years.
I think the other option is they're out of touch, and perhaps there's a they don't know what they're going to get, or they don't know what they're looking at, kind of a thing. I think that's the less likely. The middle ground of, we need to sell tickets, so let's dress this up and make it like professional wrestling hype. That is, even for me, the cynical guy, man, that's a hard pill to swallow.
But isn't that the climb? I mean, isn't that what that is? I mean, it is state-run media.
Yes.
You're going to say glowing things about every member of your team. I'll promise you this, if we went back and looked at every edition of the climb that's ever been, they're going to be highlighting certain players that are no longer with the program and who didn't do a damn thing when they were here.
Yes, that's fair. I don't think they would do it to this level, though. And usually you accentuate the positives. Of course you do on the climb. I'm not saying that it's the 60 minutes of Florida State football. I'm not saying that.
Definitely not.
I'm just saying that in past instances, even when the new coaching hires come in, you accentuate their positives, talk about their good traits. This setup and this segment felt as though Florida State acquired a first-team All-American 2 years running.
But they haven't.
Right.
And that's what I mean. Why did they do that? What was the point of that?
Maybe they saw it. That's where I keep coming back.
Well, I'm going to keep coming to the back. What could they have seen? We're not playing anybody. We haven't played a game. What could they have seen? They saw some practices. They only had, 2 or 3 scrimmages. What did they see?
Where do you see Doubting Thomas?
I was at one of those scrimmages. I didn't walk out and say, my God, it's Charlie Ward, everybody. I mean, come on, man. Again, I hope he's awesome, and I hope he takes a huge step forward, and I'm fine with the idea that Gus is going to build this thing uniquely to fit what he does do well. I'm all for it. They've clearly gone all in. They've clearly decided that, hey, look, this is the offense we want to run. We're going to utilize a kid who can really run. He can really run. But, man, don't. I just thought it was a bit much. That's maybe a long-winded way of me saying it seems a bit over the top. And by a bit, I mean crazy.
Also, it should be noted, and you'll be happy to take this mantle, you as a member of the audience are skeptical regarding this specific player. And so if that, which is it's like the vivid setting on the old TVs, you turn it all the way up. If you are living in the black and white of I don't know here on this kid, and they come at you with this, it's oil and water, man. You guys are not going to mix on this particular segment. You already have your antennae up when it comes to what Tommy Castellanos could be as a quarterback. So when they give you this is going to evoke the response that you have expressed, I believe.
I think the evidence has been overwhelming that he hasn't been a good quarterback in college. And
the funny thing is the numbers from last year aren't bad as a passer. It's just, but he got benched. You know, that's a thing you can't ignore. Well, that's not in the stat line, but
it's not only that he got benched, that the improvements that were made subsequently in the offense are significant. You could now rightfully you could fire back on me with this one. You would say, well, wait a minute. They were having a kid run a system that he's not adept at running. That is fair. I don't know what they were doing last year. I mean, he tried to make him a pro-style pocket passer. He's 5'9" and inaccurate. Why have you got a kid back there in the pocket trying to throw the football around? That's ridiculous. And I have no idea what he was trying to do.
He's being Bill O'Brien.
But so I actually forgive Castellanos for that last year. I don't think that's his fault. I think they tried to make him somebody he's not. And so I would defend Castellanos in that situation. But the numbers are the numbers. He wasn't good. And then the year before that wasn't the case. And he wasn't good. The year he lit us up, he didn't have a great season. He didn't. And people walked out of that game thinking he was elite because he looked like the second coming against us in the second half of that game. He was unbelievable. But that was an outlier. It's not something he consistently did. And we found out afterwards that the whole damn team had the flu. So, I just think that was more of an anomaly. Now, you would say, well, he rushed for over 1,000 yards. He's always been able to run. He can run. He can really run. I'm saying that over and over and over again. But obviously, as a quarterback, you need to be able to throw the ball with a degree of accuracy. You need to not turn the football over. He has done neither very well. This would be an ideal time for that to change. This would be an ideal time for that to change, and it could. It could.
That's where you're trying to take the best of both seasons, because last year his turnover count was not high again for Bill. Now they're running a system that neuters his abilities.
That's correct.
But he was 15-6 or 16-5. My dyslexic brain. It's one of the two in terms of touchdowns to interceptions. The previous year when he ran for 1,000, which that offense in theory should resemble what we're doing a lot more. He was 15-14 touchdowns to interceptions and a completion rate at around 58 and change. Last year was 61 and change, 16-5. So you're trying to take that passing output, touchdown to interception ratio from last year, marry it with the running totals from the previous year, and then you'd have something. Now we're cooking here.
And according to the climb, you might have the greatest quarterback to ever live. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Hey, this is for my homeowner friends out there. You know who you are. When you get your grass cut, you're going to inspect the work, make sure it's good. Get your house painted, check around every corner and edge, make sure that's done right. Get a new roof, get to get eyes on those shimmering new shingles. Get your septic tank cleaned. Bet you're not popping your head down in there to take a look around. You got to trust it's done right. I'll make it easy. Go see my friend Greg Miller Septic. They're my guys. I trust them, and you can too. MillerSeptic.com. That's it. That's the commercial. That's the whole thing. Check them out. It's MillerSeptic.com.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Hey everybody, this is Shannon Young with Cross Country Mortgage. Been in the industry now for 22 years. I just made the move over to the nation's largest retail lender, Cross Country Mortgage, here to serve you in 7 states, including Florida, Georgia, Alabama, the Carolinas, Tennessee, and the state of Texas. Here to offer better service, better rates, and if you were thinking about buying, or if you've been on the fence and been waiting to call me, now is the time. You can still find me at loansforknowles.com. That is, again, loansforknowles.com. I've helped thousands of fellow Knowles get into their dream home, and I can't wait to help you get into yours. Give me a call today. I'm at 954-369-6171, or go to loansforknowles.com. Again, that's 954-369-6171, and that's loansforknowles.com.
Equal housing NMLS 373031.
The 2025 hurricane season is here. Are your gutters and drains up for the challenge? If not, now's the time to call New Vision Gutters, your trusted local team that keeps water out, no matter what the skies throw at you. Full service from top to bottom for gutter repairs, gutter installs, leaf and debris guards, drainage fixes. We handle it all. Don't wait for the next big storm to find out you've got a problem. Call locally owned New Vision Gutters today. We keep our minds in the gutters, so you don't have to. Online at newvisiongutters.com.
That chip turned into a crack? No worries. Better call Seminole. We'll fix your glass faster than you can say road trip.
Road trip.
Mobile service, expert installs, and no headaches. Call 850-539-4527, 850-539-4527, or go to SeminoleAutoglass.com. Your glass, your rules, but seriously, better call Seminole.
Seminole Auto Glass.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
One more thing on this issue of again, I don't care what they do over there with the climb. They can make it as over the top as they want, and they can say outlandish things about any number of players if they want to. It's a PR, largely a PR thing. I got that. What I think is interesting is the point you were making about you think it's irresponsible for them to sign off on this as coaches if it isn't something resembling the truth. That if they just did it because they wanted PR hype around the program to sell some tickets, to get people excited about the upcoming season, fresh off a disappointing season to say the least, that they're trying to generate some positive feedback and momentum amongst the fan base and others. Okay, I get why you would do all those things. I think it's important that when you go back and look at it, though, what I find fascinating, Mike Norvell is not effusive with praise for Tommy Castellanos in the climb. He says he's embraced being here. He's excited about being here. He's been a good leader. He's worked hard. Well, that's good. I would hope he's your starting quarterback, and it's, that's the idea. But he doesn't talk about him making throws the likes of which nobody's ever seen before. He doesn't do anything like that. He's not talking about him like in insane, over-the-top, grandiose descriptions of a quarterback.
Yeah, that was Deuce, not Mike. That's fair. Well, and that's the thing that I find. If you're trying to add 2 and 2 here, Mike was extremely transparent about what was going on in closed to the media practices in spring camp, lest we forget. Talking about the challenges they had, the lack of response that he saw, the frustrations. He could have glossed over and said another good work day, and moved on. And it would not have been brought to the forefront. But he brought those concerns to us. And then based upon the whispers we got from the people that are there, it was in line with the reality of what was happening. Also, the change around practice 9 or practice 10, where they saw people get their acts together, that also was brought up by Mike Norvell.
This is my point.
So, and I think it's also mine. I find that interesting.
But no, so Tom, you just admitted to me that the larger percentage of the practices that took place, almost 75% of the practices that took place, were largely ineffective and frustrating.
Flat in terms of intensity.
And he was furious with the players, and he was challenging guys. And would that be what you describe practices like when a quarterback was Dan Marino? I mean, you come on.
But what I'm saying is, if he's willing to, and he was, that's a fact, to be transparent about his concerns and his feelings about practice day in and day out over spring camp, when he didn't need to, he didn't have to.
Well, I was proud of him for it.
So
because
if A is true, and it is, now the assumption on B, he does get the final sign off. He gets to sign off on these climb episodes. Yes.
I don't know if he does or doesn't. I have no idea if he does or doesn't. Seminole Productions is a separate deal. Who knows? They could just be making this thing. And as long as it shines a positive light on the players and the staff and the program, they're like, yeah, fine, run with it.
Well,
I mean, maybe he just watched it today and went, sweet Jesus, what are we out here doing?
If that happened, that is a mistake, because he should have the final say on anything that's released regarding the football program.
I agree with you, but I don't want to make assumptions about who looks at this thing before they okay it. And it's also, before you think we're too self-important out there, I don't care that much about this. I'm just noting that unless Tommy Castellanos plays way better than he has in each of his 2 years of college football as a starter, then these descriptions of him are not accurate up to this point. He might be that. He may have that kind of a season. I'm allowing for real growth here.
I think what we're examining is, we know the answer to this question for you is, do you buy it? And no, you don't right now, what they're saying.
No, I don't buy what was in the climb.
Right.
I don't buy that, no.
Right. I'm saying is there's a chance that they do buy it. And I know your follow-up question is how. I get that. But somebody signed off on this. I'm assuming it crosses Mike Norvell's desk before it goes out.
I'd like to think, but I don't know that.
And if Mike was very giving in spring in terms of what was really happening during practices, and let's assume for just a moment that he does get to sign off on these episodes, then that to me means they believe it over there. They believe that this is possible.
This all falls under the same umbrella as many of the other conversations we're having about Florida State football right now. Okay, so for example, I mean, here's where I'm going with this. They just had yet another impact signing yesterday, or verbal commitment, I should say. And that's exciting. And I am really, really pumped that they're doing as well as they are, given the circumstances, in recruiting. Ernest Rankins is a really good get. That is seemingly true of all those who assess it across all platforms who cover recruiting. That is a good get. Some of the other guys, even some of the other 4-stars, you'll hear people debate on the various platforms. I don't know. But nobody's debating about this, that his upside is that of potentially being an elite defensive lineman. He's got the requisite skills and length and size and all of that, right? All right. But it is still something that we always have to catch ourselves with, and we throw in caveats afterwards. We say, well, they're doing a good job. They're hovering around the top 15 in the country in recruiting currently, or 10th or 11th or whatever it is, right? But then what do we always follow it up with? A couple of caveats. One, you should be recruiting at a higher level. This is Florida State. It should be a perennial top 5, top 6 class. That's what we are when we're operating at peak efficiency. Two, given the climate of college football and the important dates in recruiting having switched to now June, you're always going to be left wondering, will it actually be the class? The one that's verbally committed may not be. You're excited about it. It beats the alternative of not having kids. Auburn is reeling. You're right to point that out. As a indicator of a program's health, you would say, I think they're in a little bit of trouble. Auburn is. And meanwhile, you might say, if you were a non-Florida State fan, that you're pleasantly surprised by Florida State's ability to recruit after last season. That's really rather remarkable that they're even having this conversation, and all those things would be true. And yet we would always interject at the end, lose a bunch of games, and I guarantee you they're not going to finish with the 11th ranked class in the country. None of these kids, very few of these kids will stick if that's the case.
Well, but you'd rather have them committed than not.
I just said that. Absolutely. It beats the alternative. But my point is that's everything about Florida State right now when we talk about it. Castellanos may end up having his best season by far this year for Florida State. I'm allowing for that even amidst my criticisms of the climb, or not even criticism, just my observation of the climb, like how silly that episode was. But it could be that he's worlds better, more complete as a quarterback this year than he's ever been. I will allow for that, and I'm really hoping that it's true. I'm really hoping that that's exactly what happens. But like with everything right now, much of that is hopeful. There are caveats that we throw in. The evidence prior to this season is that he's an okay quarterback, not great. He's going to have to be way better than he's been for that to be the case. It's also dependent upon a lot of other things to happen for him. It's not just the quarterback. And I know this. You're talking about what goes across Mike's desk, and you're talking about being responsible and understanding that what you say matters and what you put out there as a program matters. Well, I want to believe in Mike Norvell, but Mike Norvell is once again in prove-it mode because he told you, me, and anybody that would listen that the offensive line a year ago was the best he'd have, the biggest, the strongest, and by far was going to be the most productive he's ever coached. And it was, you can make an argument, the worst offensive line we've ever seen here. The worst. You could make the case. It was the worst offensive line we've ever seen. What gives? What happened, Mike? I want to believe in Mike, but I'm right to say, hold on a second. Am I not? It sucks for people to have to do that. It sucks for me to have to do that. I don't want to be the Grinch. But forgive me if I'm like, oh, hold on there, partner. I mean, you really did somehow lose the vast majority of goodwill you'd built up, and credibility to an extent was really hit hard. It doesn't mean he can't get it back. It doesn't mean it wasn't a confluence of a lot of events, and some of which he should have seen, some of which he couldn't have seen, some of which were out of his control. It doesn't mean he's not a good coach. It just means that he made a terrible error in assessment a year ago. And so now I don't know what to think about if he signs off on that episode and he thinks that Tommy Castellanos has been comparable to Charlie Ward. By the way, come on, Seminole Productions. You going to do that? You're going to flash Charlie Ward up there and Jameis Winston and Chris Winkie?
Well, he was talking about them. You never know. Maybe the wisdom that Charlie imparted to Tommy
it could,
flicks
yeah.
the light bulb on.
I don't think that it's egregious for somebody to have second thoughts about all of that and to question whether or not that's an accurate assessment. So, and in fairness, not to put words in Mike's mouth, I thought he was the calmest one of the bunch in the interviews.
Yeah, definitely true. I think Gus comments were relatively calm too.
But he never gets excited about anything, so yes.
He was talking about it factor, but he never pieced it together to say, and he has it. He was like, you know it when you see it. Like, well, and
those are words.
Did you? Well, look, understand this. Tommy's a great fit for the offense. Redirect on the answer. The one thing I would say, too, is in recent Florida State history, we do have moments, specifically a moment, in which a quarterback who was thought to hit a ceiling and be one thing became another.
Yes.
Is that a reason for pause on the optimistic side here? Is, well, Jordan was a runner until he wasn't.
That's right. Jordan Travis did something I had never seen before. I have gone out of my way to make sure to point out that I was amazed, and he gets all the credit for that. It's awesome that he did it. And I'll never forget it. Maybe it happens with Tommy Castellanos. Maybe it does. I'm wishful, but they're talking about him now as if he is that. Nobody was going into the season in which Jordan turned it around to the degree in which he did, where pre-snap, my man is reading defenses in a way he never had. And then as a passer, he became more accurate, had more of a deft touch than he had ever shown, made more of the intermediate throws with accuracy than he ever had previous, to go along with the phenomenal athleticism that we already knew he possessed. That was cool to see, and it would be great to see again, and I sure hope it happens. I have my doubts, but I had my doubts before Jordan Travis did all of those things too. That was also before Mike showed that he could go 2-10 and tell us it was the best offensive line he'd ever seen.
Same guy. That's what's so confusing about him.
Yeah.
He might be, truthfully, I know that we try to stay away from hyperbole, but he might be one of the more confusing head coaches in the history of the game.
Well, currently he is to me, because we have never lived in an era where something like this happens. You know, I again.
But even within the era in which the strange happens year over year, he is the band leader. He's the one. He's dotting the I in the band. 12-0 to 2-10. There have been some real drop-offs season to season. Even if it's not the same head coach, you point to Michigan often that they can win a title.
And they lost 5 games the next year. Yeah,
that's crazy. But 12-0 to 2-10, 12-0 to preseason top 10, 12-0 to NFL scouts being on campus by the half dozen, looking at the roster, not looking at the roster and saying, "I'm never coming back to Tallahassee again. These dudes are frauds." No, return trips. It's something. The same guy, he is the most Pecan Valley head coach I've ever seen.
Do you recall, I think it was, I'm just thinking back, what was the record when I said I thought they would win the remainder of their games the year they won 10?
Oh, that was a 9-3 season. So that was after the 3 consecutive losses.
After 3 consecutive losses, I came on the air and said I thought they'd win out.
Yeah, that was
right.
Clemson, Wake, and NC State in whatever order it was. Yeah.
But the reason I said it was because I thought there was evidence that they were better than they were and that they were trending in the right direction. Those are the kinds of predictions. Sometimes you get them right, sometimes you get them wrong. I got that one right. Everybody will remind me of the ones I got wrong. Got it. I'm on every day. But what I will tell you is that those are built around tangible evidence and things that you're witnessing. Like you're saying, oh, we lost that game, but man, look, this kid's he's really on the cusp of something good here. And I think that we, with the schedule, the way it lays out, have an advantage here, and here, right? That's what you do. I mean, there's no evidence that we don't even know what this team's going to be. There's nothing you can't know. They're entirely new.
Yeah. Yes, on offense, you know what the scheme is, but the entirety of the personnel is new. You could have 11 starters brand new in the first snap of the season. 11. All of them.
Right. Every one of them could be new. And it's not a stretch to say it out loud.
No,
it's not.
No, it's
they
not.
could all be new. So I don't know. Maybe they become great. There's nothing about most of their previous stops that suggests they'll become great. But sometimes, the collection. So it could happen. It could happen. You see it. You do see things like this frequently where a team has a poor season, guys mature, get better. But the hard part that we're in now is that that's the way you assessed in the old days. You can't assess that way now.
No, but you could have blissful ignorance here, right? Like last year's ignorance was Mike had no idea. He was ignorant to what was going on behind the scenes to a level that he was willing to hype up a team that clearly didn't deserve it. They weren't 2-10 bad, but they certainly weren't as good as he thought they were going to be.
And they did go 2-10.
In this case, you could have ignorance in the positive way because you've got coordinators who weren't here. You've got holdovers who are playing for those coordinators, but they don't have time to think about past failures. They got to worry about their new scheme. And then you do have 16, 17 new starters out of 22.
Yeah.
I mean, damn, even down to the specialists, they're new. It's an entirely new football team. If it wasn't for them wearing the same uniforms, you wouldn't recognize them at all.
And it's a good damn thing that it's a new football team because the stretch that saw us lose 36-14 to Miami, 35-11 to North Carolina, and 52-3 to Notre Dame is as painful a stretch as I can remember watching. Non-competitive, listless performances. You would be completely bereft of hope if you just ran it back with the group that was possible, that did that. I mean, you would be absolutely we wouldn't be talking football right now. I'd be protesting by talking freaking volleyball. I wouldn't do it if they had just run it back. So they rightfully did what they did in the offseason. And I'm not embracing Castellanos in this offense. I'm just saying, come on, man.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I think it's fair to say that you're not embracing him, Just because somebody walks in the room doesn't mean and you accept their presence in the room.
What I'm saying is I'm not anti.
Right.
I'm not anti. Tommy Castellanos, up to this point in his college career, hasn't moved the needle for me, hasn't done anything for me. I haven't thought he was an elite quarterback ever at any point. Not even after he ran all over us. Thought he had a great afternoon. But I concede that I've also never seen him here in this offense running it with these players and this coach and a brand new set of starters and catered to his specific skill set. I'm willing to admit that could look very different.
I think it's a reasonable expectation that whatever he is this season is the best version of what he can be.
It has to be because they've never catered something specific towards his skill set.
Precisely. And this team has more to work with than Boston College did. As much as he wants to tell the world how crappy that Boston College roster was, which a choice I would not have made. Tell everybody that, well, now I got real players on my team after putting this program on my back. Beat the ACC my damn self. All right, man. I mean, there are record books that we can check in these circumstances. You played very well in many of these games, but easy does it. However, in this case, this is as good as it's going to get for him in terms of opportunity. Like, this is miraculous, given where he was 12 months ago with Bill O'Brien installing with him. And I'm looking at that playbook, I'm sure going, when do I run? And Bill says, never.
Yeah.
Never. Trayshawn Ward's going to run. You're not going to run. Flash forward 12 months. This is as good as it possibly could have gotten for him.
Well, we've blown through all kinds of breaks on this subject, so let's take one now. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
A Leon County man has been sent to... the time of his arrest, he said he knew he should have deleted the videos and knew that it was wrong, according to the attorney's office. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times this afternoon with a chance of thunderstorms. Daytime highs approaching 92, winds out of the north around 5 miles per hour. Mainly clear skies develop with fog at times tonight. Slight chance of thunderstorms. Lows dip down to about 75. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Currently 90.
Did you know that the survivability of a metal roof far exceeds that of a traditional shingle roof? At Metal Roofing Sales of Tallahassee, we have new state-of-the-art roll formers that produce the highest quality Versa panel, PBR panel, and standing seam options. And we will guarantee to match or beat any local competitor's pricing. We're a family-owned business, ready to offer you the best sales and installation service in the area. And don't forget about our veterans and first responders discounts. Call Metal Roofing Sales today, 850-536-9123, or visit us online at metalroofingSales.net.
There he is. Haven't seen this guy since, what was it? Oh, shoot. U2 at the Sphere in Las Vegas, baby.
Hey, how about that, man? Wasn't that fun?
Good show. Good show. Everything about it. Nearly perfect. Nearly perfect.
I had everything I could possibly want.
I wanted one thing, couldn't find it, and I looked everywhere. No Cubans.
What do you mean?
No Cubans.
There was Cubans.
No, I didn't see any Cubans.
Dude, I'm sure there was Cubans there. I mean,
No. I walked around. There was a moment right before the show. I thought, got to find some Cubans. Nothing.
Dude, there's Cubans. There was Cubans. I'm sure there was Cubans.
In Las Vegas?
In Las Vegas.
No Cubans in Vegas.
There's Cubans in Vegas, man.
Eddie, there were no Cubans.
Chef.
The sandwich. There were no Cuban sandwiches. You're Cuban. Of course I know there were Cubans there.
Oh, the sandwich. Yeah, no, there probably wasn't many there in Vegas.
No Cubans.
No, not yet.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
A little 2-minute segment here for you, so I'll let you know that Michael Kim's had a good day. He's tied for fourth. What, you're not watching the John Deere? You didn't tune in to hear us talk up the John Deere?
Oh.
Hey, it's Doug Gim. It's Gim season.
Oh, no. How's Bo Hostler doing? My man.
I'll have to check in on Bo, but Kevin Yu had a good day, and I got Kevin Yu. He's 7 under. It's a Kevin Yu kind of day. I will tell you this. I am happy for Max Homa to have a good round of golf under his belt for the first time this year. Shot a 63. There you go, Max.
So I'm scrolling to find the scores on ESPN.com, and I have to get past NCAA basketball headlines, ESPYs promos.
Oh, no.
And Gold Cup stuff.
Well, I got it here for you, Tom. Ask me about anybody you want, buddy. I would also point out that this streak is amazing. So I will let you all know on a serious note, this is funny. You know how when you're going bad with your gambling or your picks, if you don't gamble, whatever, and you get to a point where you're on such a bad roll that you turn to somebody and you go, you know what? You want to win money this weekend? Here's who I think will win the games. Take the opposite, because that's the kind of roll I'm on right now. I will seriously suggest to all of you that if I think Keith Mitchell is going to have a good tournament, there is zero chance of that happening, and you should make sure you bet against him. If I think that I'll never again find a reason to bet on Keith Mitchell, to ever pick him ever and again, it is that week that he will go out and tell me to go to hell. So he finished second to last week when I had him. He was the singular reason that I lost my group week. I lost the group by 2 strokes, despite Keith Mitchell's sorry ass shooting a 78 the way that average ass slap asses over at any Muni could shoot. And then my man is 5 under today. I can't.
You're not just a slap ass. You are an average ass slap ass.
It's unbelievable.
Muni level playing joker.
But you know what? Today, here's Keith Mitchell, 66, 5 under. It's the strangest thing.
Well, he was working on things last week for the deer. That's
for the deer.
You should have talked to his camp about that.
He was like, "Look, guys, I'm not making the cut this week. I'm working on a little buttery cut fade for the John Deere."
But Keith, you've never hit one before.
Oh no, I'm going to, and it's required of the deer. And I care about winning the deer, so I'm working on my cut fade. It's John Smoltz working on his curveball one spring and giving up 5 straight home runs in a game. Oh, I'm not worried about the result. I just got to make sure I'm snapping this curveball off when the season starts.
Honestly, as long as I shoot better than 85 working on a brand new shot, I'll be happy. I just hope nobody bet on me.
Hour number 2 forthcoming. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
Feeling sluggish? Wake up your body the right way with Vigor. The all-new Vigor Cold Plunge Tub from Hot Spring Spas is now available exclusively at Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas in Tallahassee. Boost circulation, reduce inflammation, sharpen your focus, and more. Elite athletes do it daily, and now you can too. Experience the power of cold therapy in your own home. Come see the Vigor Cold Plunge, available only at Pinch a Penny on Capitol Circle Northeast and Greer Road.
When you need the plumber quick, how long is an acceptable time to wait?
Hey guys, we really need you over here. My toddler just flushed a whole bunch of toys down the toilet and everything, and I mean everything, is backing up.
2 hours?
Hey guys, just checking in. The water has reached the hallway now and it's getting pretty deep. Can you get here anytime soon?
4 hours?
Hey guys, can you please hurry? Now my wiener dog is doing the backstroke over here and they're not known to be strong swimmers. Hey honey, grab his life jacket.
8 hours?
Oh, so now you're here.
At M&L Plumbing, you'll never have to wait long for quality, dependable service right when you need it. Our qualified technicians aim to achieve 100% customer satisfaction. And now M&L Plumbing can also be your go-to for all septic tank pump-out services. So the next time you need plumbing work or repairs, think of the name M&L Plumbing. Your local plumbing experts, commercial or residential. Give us a call, 850-575-9393, or online at mnlplumbing.com. M&L Plumbing, for all of your plumbing needs.
Hey, everybody, it's Ed Dean along with Roger Henderson, also with FloridaDaily.com. Just want to remind you, daily 4 to 6 in the afternoons right here in Tallahassee on Real Talk 93.3 FM. Roger, it is literally the 2 fastest hours anywhere in afternoon talk radio.
And if you think the country's going crazy, we'll help you make sense of it all.
Oh, yeah, we'll try to make some sense of it. Again, Monday through Friday in the afternoons, Ed Dean, Roger Henderson on 93.3.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee. Your sports flash update on Real Talk 93.3 in Tallahassee.
Florida State football continues to be on a recruiting roll as they have received their 13th commitment of the 2026 cycle since last month in 4-star defensive lineman Ernest Rankins. He is the 4th defensive lineman for the 2026 class, 6'6", 285 pounds. He's considered the number 14 defensive lineman according to 24/7 Sports, and also the number 14 recruit coming out of the state of Georgia. Florida football, they have picked up their 14th commitment for the class of 2026 as they get 4-star defensive tackle from Fort Miles, Kendall Gerville. He is considered the number 28 player overall coming out of the state of Florida. This Sports Flash is presented by Progressive. Bundle auto and home, renters, or condo insurance and save with Progressive. I'm Matt Pauley on Real Talk 93.3.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Walk right through the door. It's all here to explore. With guys in the know and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Everyone has a fave Wendy's Frosty flavor. And when you're choosing from chocolate or vanilla, it's not that hard. But now there's all new Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions. So try picking your fave from Oreo Brownie Fusion, Pop-Tarts Strawberry Fusion, Strawberry Swirl, Brownie Batter Swirl, Caramel Swirl, and Caramel Crunch Fusion. Not so easy now, huh? For a fresh way to Frosty, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
Participating U.S. Wendy's. Hours may vary by location. Oreo is a trademark of Mondelez International Group. Pop-Tarts is a trademark of Kellogg North America Co. LLC. Used with permission.
Every life tells a story. At Cornerstone Memorials, we help you preserve that story with care, compassion, and craftsmanship. Whether it's a custom headstone, a beautiful monument, or a heartfelt inscription, our family is here to serve yours. Visit cornerstonememorials.org and discover how we've helped Tallahassee families honor their loved ones for over 50 years. Choose Cornerstone Memorials because the memories of the ones we love deserve to last forever.
On the front lines, fighting the insanity of the woke, it's Matt and Brett Oster with America in View.
Stores. That's not all. Games for Less now buys and sells new and used vinyl records to boot. George loves the Beatles, by the way. Reserve all the new releases today at Games for Less, conveniently located in the Walmart Supercenter Plaza on Appalachian Parkway. Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Bosses are allowing you to skedaddle a little early today. Wherever you're listening, whatever you're doing, thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. I saw a lot of you guys weigh in today on what it was you were doing while listening to the show, and I appreciate it. It's good to have that sort of connectivity. I like to know. Because I listen to a ton of pods when I'm working out, when I'm doing yard work. I listen to them on Bluetooth when I'm in the shower. I don't need to know if you're listening to me in the shower. I assume many of you are. But I would say that, we all do this. It's kind of cool when you get it back, like for your own show, right? So that guy's on his way to work. That guy's on his way to whatever. It's cool. I like that. If you're on a long walk, I would have waited till later. It's awfully hot. But if you didn't, good for you. And thanks for listening while you're doing it. Hayden asked a question and contributed to the program last hour. I somehow overlooked Hayden's question because I was not looking at the chat at all. After last year, I'm more concerned with wide receivers' hands than quarterback getting the ball to the right spot. We finished top 5 in drops. We dropped the hell out of what passes were accurately thrown. There weren't a lot, but the ones that were frequently put on the ground.
Yeah, credited with 26 for the season. So I'm sure that was top something.
That's a lot. It's something.
We didn't have a whole lot of drives either. We didn't run a whole lot of offensive plays.
No, we sucked in every imaginable way.
So you're averaging more than 2 a game. Yeah.
No, it was embarrassing. It was just.
Well, we all know the worst one. Well, I suppose that could be debated, but I don't think it is debatable. It's the SMU second half Morlock pick 6 off of the chest plate.
The set.
Yeah.
Will famously be in Florida State's lore.
We were still in that game with that fraud of a team, but it didn't matter. We were beyond fraudulent. We were just pond scum as a team.
I cracked up. I got to listen, Brandon, if you believe that in your heart, I like you. I do. I mean, you would be the definition of an eternal optimist. I mean, that is something to behold. I'm assuming, Brandon, you weren't out of the country where you couldn't get football a year ago, that you did sit through the 2-10 campaign. So that makes it all the more impressive that you write in on the chat. I think Tommy's going to kill it this season, winning us more than 10 games and making some awesome plays just like Jordan did. I didn't expect to be this hyped after last season, but I am. There is not a greater optimist on planet Earth than Brandon, everybody, and he's right here in our chat.
He can be a video guest on this show after the 11-1 2025 campaign, right?
Okay, Brandon, I'll tell you what. You'll make your debut on the Jeff Cameron Show in video form if in fact we end up going 11-1, or I guess I'll even give him credit if we ended up with 10 wins because he counts the bowl game.
Okay. So he could make yes, if we won the bowl game to push it to 11, because more than 10 is more than 10.
That's correct. And, again, it's funny because Florida man, Alabama, share the substance you're using. Yeah, that cornbread hype is real. It doesn't make you, yeah, Kurt, I am too. Believe me, I am too. It doesn't make you negative or pessimistic or a hater to say, I don't think there's any way in hell they win 11 games. I don't think there's a chance in hell, not a snowball's chance in hell that they win 11 games.
I think the postseason motto for the season would be "Holy moly!" If that's it, "Holy moly 2025," and then you put the schedule on the back with the results.
It'd be cool as hell. I'd love to have to set up for that show. I'd be like, I don't know what we're gonna get, but Brandon's joining us. Wouldn't that be something? Yeah. Okay. I like the kind of Mario. It is. And I'm freaking dying right now because of it. So we should let the folks in on this little secret. About 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, this affects your room more than it affects mine.
Well, it's nonsense, and I'm pissed about it right here, right now. And I have been every day this week. About 2 weeks ago, the air conditioning in the building that this studio sits in went out. It went on the fritz. Something happened. Don't know what happened. Air conditions, you know what happens. Anyhow, so it broke down. And so as we were coming in that day, John, who owns this station, calls me and says, hey, heads up, brother. I'm so sorry. The air went out this morning. They're here working on it. I don't know what the studio is going to be like. I'm not in the office right now. Of course, he wasn't in the office. I'm not in the office right now, but when you get in the studio, it could be really hot. So I'm like, all right, well, it happens, whatever. We'll put up with 3 hours worth of heat. I've grown up in Florida most of my life. I can handle heat. It sucks, but we'll do it, right? So then we come in, and they had fixed it. They had fixed the air, and it was serviceable. It was
on its way back.
It was on its way back.
Like our football program.
It had, according to Brandon, it was about to be, Alaska in here. But so I was like, okay, I'll live with this. It's 78. It's not great. 78 is way too high to have the air set to. In my house, you would be terribly uncomfortable if you lived with me, all of you. I try to set it to 68, 69. My wife is frequently in a sweater. Nice. This is the way it works. But I walked in and I was like, I'll live with this. But they said, it's fixed. It'll be good. But subsequently, we have consistently had it be 74, 75 in here. And I finally went to John and I said, what gives, man? This is nonsense. The studio, because of all this equipment, you can't see some of the equipment that's in here. You can see some of it with Tom, but all of this equipment, and right next to me, I have equipment here. It's hot. It warms the room. It may be 74, 75 out there, but in here, it's hot. And we were told, by the way, that we can't change the temperature because John doesn't own the building. The dude who owns the building was pissed that the air broke. He thought we had it too low. And so he just sets it now. There's a code. We don't even know the code. And he's got a lock on it because I tried to guess the code. And I'm like, no, this isn't going to work, but there's a lock on it. And yeah, that's where we are. That's where we are. It's hot. It's I need it. It's hotter than Hades in here, and it's every day.
The temperature in this building is acceptable. The temperature in this building is acceptable. The temperature in this building is acceptable. The temperature in this building is acceptable.
Yeah, just like the climb.
I am very comfortable in these conditions.
Burning up. Yeah, it is maddening. So the reason that TPE's comments earlier in the show made me laugh is he's the one guy who's of the group that's been here. He dropped something off, a really nice shirt for me right after my birthday, and he got to feel the uncomfortableness of this situation. We're gonna have to find a way. This sort of cross this line, man. This is not getting it done. It is terrible, and it's enough to distract you from doing your job. I, by the way, probably didn't spend enough time on Ernest Rankin's commitment. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but he's rated as the number 5 defensive lineman in the country. According to On3, right?
Top 50 player, 47th overall, number 5 defensive lineman, according to On3. Yes.
That's what you do, man. That's a good one. I mean, that's a huge commitment. You had to beat out some real teams for him. A lot of times you'll see us get a 4-star. Tom and I were talking about this yesterday. You're like, well, let's see. Who did we beat out? Oh, good. We knocked off Rutgers and Northwestern to get him. Good. But when you see, that the kid had offers from Ohio State and Georgia, okay, doing some things, that I'm excited about.
And the subtext here is that clearly Auburn was getting more and more and more aggressive with their offer for the kid because there was a delay.
That could have been a very lengthy delay.
That could have been maybe because the edit wasn't right, and I said that yesterday. But still, if it's you and Auburn cannot stop the bleeding with its recruiting class, that kid is being offered more than the market value. And we were still able to do what was necessary.
I'm still blown away that Southern Cal has the number 1 rated class according to Rivals.
They got a lot of dudes, right?
Yeah, well, the quantity, but the average rating is over 90. It's good. I mean,
that is good.
They're doing some things. We currently sit, according to Rivals, at 13th or 12th, excuse me, with 21 commitments.
Our recruiting class is rated #1 in the country. We have the best recruits in the country.
Oh, man. All right. I want to double check something on our recruiting. Yeah, we're 88.84 in terms of the average rating. Southern Cal has a lot of people. They also have a 90.74, which rates higher than the average rating for Georgia's class.
But you would be skeptical of Southern Cal's class, right? Because I got to imagine it's mostly Cali kids.
Well, you know how I feel about that.
Yes, I do.
I don't have any time for you if you're from California. As a football player.
Weak Western kids.
Soft. Give me a kid from Louisiana. Give me a kid from Georgia. Give me a kid from Florida. Give me a kid even from Alabama. Give me a kid from Mississippi. Give me a kid. Yes, let's go.
You're saying you trust a kid from a parish in Louisiana over a kid from Humboldt, California?
I am.
Okay.
I am. That's what I'm saying. Also, I keep waiting to see, look, the way it's rated right now, Southern Cal, Georgia, Notre Dame. Good on you, Notre Dame. Good Lord. Texas A&M, Ohio State. Why are people still believing in the fraud that is A&M? Still. I know. Money, Jeff, money. LSU, Oregon, Alabama, Clemson, Miami rounding out the top 10. We're right there living in the neighborhood with Michigan, Florida, and Tennessee for now. There are those that are skeptical and say, look, when this all shakes out, there's little chance that we're going to break the top 10, that Texas will turn this around. They only have 16 recruits, but their average rating is 89. It's not even, but they do have 2 5-stars. One of these days, we're going to get a 5-star. It may be soon, right? The one kid, the DB, is it?
Chauncey Cannon commits Sunday, so we should get some news on Sunday. Now, I believe he's a 5-star in one service. Might not be ours. But I would cherry pick in this situation.
I would always cherry pick. Anywhere a kid is a 5-star, I would incorporate that into my list as a 5-star, whether I had him as a 3 or not. I would, wherever he's a 5-star. Vance's recruiting rankings.
Scout.com.
Yeah, I'm Vance. And I like him. I got him rated as a 5-star.
The #1 prospect in the last 15 years has committed to your university.
Good job, Vance. Another 5-star from Vance's Kids. That's the website, Vance's Kids.
You could create Florida State sponsored sports.com.
Yeah.
And you could just write, it's like the Onion, except you just write glowing stuff every day. Again. That would be, you know what? I would click on that website.
Shannon Young is my guy. He could be yours if you're looking for a mortgage. He's with Cross Country Mortgage. Better rates, better options, stronger support, faster response in 7 states: Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, Texas, and the Carolinas. Relentless and goal-oriented, really smart, really energetic, really hardworking. I'm vouching for Shannon. I've seen his work, and we've had a bunch of Knowles who listen to this show reach out to Shannon. If you want to do the same, make it happen. Loansforknowles.com. Loansforknowles.com.
July 9, 1755, near Fort Duquesne, now the city of Pittsburgh. A 23-year-old British officer leads his troops in battle during the French and Indian War. Though fired upon repeatedly, this young lieutenant colonel remains unharmed, to the disbelief of the native warriors. 15 years later, a respected chief sat over a council fire with this same man. As he told all those listening, the Great Spirit protects this man and guides his destiny. He will become the chief of nations, and a people yet unborn will hail him as the founder of a mighty empire. The man was George Washington, who went on to become the commander-in-chief of the Continental Army and the first president of the United States.
Celebrating our nation's freedom and wishing you a happy Independence Day. From Wood and Glass on South Monroe, Tallahassee's first family in glass since 1945. For mirrors, shower and bath enclosures, tabletops, and window glass, call 222-5781. Online at woodandglass.com.
Craving something different? Discover the bold and surprising flavors of Peru at Café de Martín. From sizzling lomo saltado to savory handmade empanadas, every dish is made with heart, history, and soul. Crafted by classically trained Chef Martín himself. It's not just food. It's a trip to Peru without the plane ticket. Swing by Café de Martín today and taste the tradition. Café de Martín. Authentic Peruvian. Right around the corner.
Ain't nothing but a G-pop, baby. I am 99% sure that is not how the lyrics go. Well, you like remixes, right? Of course. Well, think of this as a Grassroots Coffee remix per se, because Grassroots Coffee is now in the single-serve coffee pod game.
Dude, those single-serve coffee pods and cups are weak sauce.
Not Grassroots Coffee G-Pods. They have more coffee in them than regular single-serve pods and cups.
Seriously?
And not only do they have more coffee, they have a built-in filter for better brewing. They fit in most Keurig machines, and they are fully compostable.
It's still the small batch, slow-roasted coffee you love, so go to grassrootscoffee.com and get your box of G-Pods today.
Baby.
See? Remix.
Well, actually, that's more of an homage.
Grassroots Coffee, locally owned, locally roasted, and made for everyone, loved everywhere.
Grassroots Coffee G-Pods. So very good.
Ready to spice things up, Tallahassee? Slide into the all-new Tallulah Love Shop, your one-stop pleasure palace. From sensual toys and steamy couples kits to luscious aphrodisiacs and pheromone perfumes that whisper, yes. And oh, don't forget the THC slushies, flower, 7-0 kratom, and sweet edible treats that hit just right. Grab your partner or come solo and see the all-new Tallulah Love Shop at 1530 Mahan Drive. More love, more fun, always at Tallulah.
Some men follow the crowd. Others take the long way, the wayward way. At thewaywardgent.com, we've curated the gear, gadgets, and grit every respectable man needs, from the fairway to the fire pit. We've identified the top-rated Amazon finds, so you don't have to. No fluff, just the good stuff. Visit thewaywardgent.com for the man who's not afraid to live a little off course. Thewaywardgent.com.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
We both got to do, or we have to do two things this hour, and we will. We got to do a red zone as we are not going to be here tomorrow, and we got to have some fun with our friends at ISF. I actually have sort of a ISF announcement to make as far as something that they're doing, they're going to be involved in, and maybe your employees will want to be involved in. I'll tell you about that in a bit. I think instead, Tom, we should go with the red zone right here, right now, buddy. I'll put you on the spot. Cue that sucker up and get your questions ready to roll.
Wait, I had set up the ISF stuff.
Oh, no, but I don't have the ISF stuff I need right now, so we're going to have to do
it. I've pivoted. I'm good now.
Yeah, okay. Fire it up.
Welcome to the majesty.
Every freaking rep.
The elegance.
To win the game. Oh, he hits the upright. It's no good.
You have entered.
Someone burned down the funeral home. You burnt the funeral home.
Lives will be changed.
Sideline. Touchdown. Unbelievable.
Mothers will cry.
When you see your players give all that they have and you lose that way, it's tough.
Legacies are etched into eternity.
I know who I am.
North, South Dakota was his brother from West Virginia.
This is the Red Zone.
That's good to know.
First down, and before we get to it, let me tell you about our friends at Artisan Financial Services. Strategies is actually what they're called, Jeff, not services at all. They're Artisan Financial Strategies. Get it right. Well, see, I forget that because I'm often pointing you towards, rightfully so, NoleRetirement.com. Go to NoelRetirement.com and get involved with my friend and fellow Noel, Adam Tolliver, and his team at Artisan Financial Strategies as they prepare to coach you to victory. You got to have enough money. Can't run out of money when you're trying to retire or move on to a different job. You want to protect yourself and your family against rising healthcare costs and the like, perhaps legacy planning, whatever it might be. You can get a free assessment if you go to NoelRetirement.com. First down, Tommy, is what?
All right, you said in recent weeks, I think it was last week, but because of the player interviews, that Jeremiah Wilson is now your favorite player on the roster this season.
Yeah, and he's also, I think, our most highly rated player on our roster.
Yeah, in the NCAA,
I think that's true. That's true, yeah.
Who would be your second favorite player on this roster as we sit here today on July the 3rd?
Deuce Robinson, because I'm projecting that he's going to be really good. And I do know that he had a very good camp, and I do know that there was legitimate hype about what he brought to the table in camp, unlike this crazy climb thing where they're making stuff up about Castellanos. But no, Deuce had a good camp, and he's got a 6'7" frame to do something about it. He's an athlete, former 5-star recruit. I feel like Deuce is going to have a good year if we can get anything out of Tommy.
Yeah, the mindset is there too.
Yep.
You know, some guys have that kind of pedigree and they think the next program owes them something. He does not come here with that mindset at all.
And yeah, I love the fact that he's a hard worker, big, strong kid, has a chance to do great things. And you're right, his attitude's awesome. Plus, we both know Dominic, and he's a great guy, and he's a former Noel, and I remember his career here as well. And you've had more conversations with him than I have, but I've had several conversations with him, and I enjoy his insight. I root, as a parent, I know what that is. He's got to be excited to have his son here. He's probably over the moon. So yeah, I'm rooting for it to happen.
Second down.
By the way, if you want a guy on the other side, it's Herring.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's second down then. Why would Elijah Herring be one of your favorite players?
He's been a tackling machine, and when you watch him play, whether it was at Tennessee or Memphis, he flows to the football. He comes up and hits you. He plays with physicality. He's a good football player. He's a tackler, a tackling machine. Linebackers have been, I don't know if you noticed, rather unproductive around these parts for some time, rather confused around these parts for some time. I'd like to see some solid linebacker play. Now again, I already gave you my original pick for this. This is a secondary pick on defense. This is a linebacker.
So your medal stand would be Jeremiah Wilson, Deuce Robinson, Elijah Herring.
Yep, right now it would be.
Okay. Third down, I guess. Race 2 in the Alabama game. Come on now. What you got? What is the race to?
31.
Okay.
I don't think we're going to get many stops.
You don't think we're going to get many stops?
No.
Okay.
I don't think we're going to win the game.
Breaking news.
So there it is. That's where we go.
Fourth down. As we sit here today, percentage chance we beat Miami at home.
Oh, as we sit here today, 50-50.
Well, there we go. I was hunting for some optimism, and there it is. That you think it's a coin flip, I think is a good thing.
I don't trust their coach, so it's a home game. I think we'll play extremely hard. I think we're a better team than we were a year ago. Don't know how we couldn't be. I think the system keeps us in games. So, sure, I know the odds don't agree with me, but that's where I'd put that for right now as we sit here today. Obviously, we'll get context clues and we'll get hard evidence that might change my opinion before that game is played. But as we sit here today, sure.
Here's a bonus question, fifth down. In terms of receiving yards leader for Florida State, I'm not asking who, I'm asking how many. Florida State's leading receiver will have how many yards for the season?
Oh, God, I don't know. I mean, I don't.
Looking for you to tell me a story about this offense.
.600 yards.
Ooh. Okay. You don't think we're going to win many games. That's my takeaway from that.
I think we could win 7 or 8 games.
Okay. That feels like a 7-win receiving total to me.
654.
Oh. Should have stopped and quit while I was ahead. When you gave us 50-50 to beat Miami.
654, buddy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's a little light.
Well, you think he's going to be back there prolifically throwing around the lot?
No, I think that if the running game is successful, then the shot play is going to rack up yards for these guys very quickly.
I do too, but here's what I think. They'll spread it out a little bit, and even if you say it's deuce, which I would, here's the deal. I think you're going to have some games where he's got 2 catches, 31 yards, and then I think he's going to have some games where he's got 4 catches, 104 yards. But
But do you think there's going to be more for the 2 for 34 if he's only getting
I think teams will try to take him away. I also think that, we don't have a very good passer at quarterback. And I think that, there's some teams that can do something about it. There's at least 4 games where I don't think he'll throw for that much. So
6th down. Are you excited for this season?
I am. Yeah, I'm really excited. I mean, I can't believe we're this close. It's really, I understand you got to add the hours on, but it's 50 days until the start of college football. I'm excited for college football. I'm excited for Florida State football.
Ooh, note the order, everybody.
No,
note
but I get it. I love college football, so I'm always excited about the sport. I'm a little disappointed in the sport right now, but I still love it, and I'm excited about it. And then secondly, this is a complicated question because I don't subscribe to the idea that if you go 2-10 and then win 7 games the next year, that it's a huge step forward that we should all embrace and be excited about. It's still a 7-win season at Florida State. Okay, make it an 8-win season if you'd like. Make it a 9-win season at Florida State. Okay, you still lost 3 times in that scenario. You lost 4 times if it's an 8-win scenario. Man, I hold Florida State to a much higher standard. I hold Mike to a higher standard than that. He already proved with a 10-win season and a 13-win season that that's where we should be operating, that's what's possible with him. Unfortunately, he proved that we could lose 10 games in a regular season too, which I never saw coming. But I don't lower my standard for what is a great FSU season or even a very good FSU season. So I'll be pleased that we don't suck to high heaven yet again. If we have a winning season, it's better than a losing season. It's pretty straightforward stuff, but it's not something that I'm over the moon about. It's Florida effing State. You ought to make the playoff. You ought to be in contention to win the conference and make the playoff every year if you're operating this thing anywhere close to peak efficiency.
I think the good thing here is you're making the case for yourself to always wake up on a game day optimistic because you're going to hold Florida State to that standard on a given day and for a given season.
Well, I am early in the year before they give me evidence otherwise. Now, last year by week 4, I wasn't holding them to any standard other than try not to give up 100 points and see if you can score more than 14. Last year was the craziest outlier in the history of my viewing of Florida State athletics in any sport anywhere. It was absurd. So I don't point to the outlier and use that as the baseline. But to me, it's look, I think most of us look at Florida State and say, if you're coaching well and you've got your ducks in a row, you ought to. You have a lot of built-in advantages. We're part of the haves in the world of college football. You ought to win 8, 9, 10 games every year, bare minimum. Now, some years you're going to have a tougher schedule, like when you play Alabama out the gate. But a lot of years you don't, and that game's replaced with an also-ran, and you look at your schedule and you go, got to beat Clemson, got to beat Miami, got to beat Florida. Everybody else should be a given. You ought not be worried about whether or not you can beat Pitt or Wake or Duke. Those are bitches. We ought to this should be a no-brainer. But no, it hasn't been as of late. And it's upsetting. It's frustrating.
There is no 7th down after that.
That's the way I view the upcoming season. If we get to 8 wins, sure beats the hell out of 2. I'm not running down the street celebrating our 8 wins.
Dance to the Warchant.
I think that's fair. It's a stepping stone season that I didn't think we were going to have to do again. With the same head coach, we got another stepping stone season heading into year 7 or whatever the hell. I mean, come on, man.
But we need to take that step, and there is the stone.
Yeah, and
we better not miss it.
That's correct.
We don't want to fall.
Well, he won't be here if he does. So
those are tar pits. That's not just water.
You've even described this season as one that will provide clarity for you one way or the other. That's not exactly optimism. That's not exactly
No,
like
no.
euphoric and excitement. It's just you saying, hey, we're going to get a little clarity here.
Correct. But I think the big difference that you and I have is in our adult lives. For me, it's a coin flip that we have a season to the standard that you hold Florida State to. So
Yes,
this is
because
not,
you're younger than me by 15 years. Yes, or more than that. Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, now I grew up in the golden era. My sister was going here and I fell in love with this university. So I understand what it was in the 90s. I watched it. I did. But in my adult life, from the time I've gotten here on campus in January 2006 to this moment, this standard that you speak of that we should be held to every year hasn't existed. It's been here in fits and starts. It has not been
That is correct. We've had 5 losing seasons in the last 10 years. Yes.
So where I'm sitting, and when you're saying, well, you seem to be not that optimistic, I'm used to this. Sadly, I'm used to crap like this. Now, 2-10 that's insane.
Yeah, you're not used to that.
No, but the idea of, well, we're stuck in the middle here. Let's see if we get a little bit of clarity. Like, yeah, man, been here a lot. The tail end of Bowden's era, back half of Jimbo's career, all of Willie's career, Mike in the beginning, Mike now. I mean,
what's frustrating, Tom, is look, I've been through these same roller coasters. Yes, the impressionable times in which I was part of Florida State football, we did end up having a run that is second to none. 14 straight top 4 finishes. Nobody's even close to having done what Florida State did. It is part of our history. It is part of our lore. It did make up the way that I viewed an influence, I should say, the way that I viewed what's possible as a standard for Florida State. The objective side of me understands. And remember, I started going to games with my dad as far back as the early 80s. There are older people listening to this who go back even further than that. Hell, I can remember the 79 season and the loss in the Orange Bowl. I can remember the 10-win season that followed it up. But then we fell back. We went, I think in 81, I think we went 6-5. I can remember those years. But when I started getting serious about Florida State, it was around 87. Well, guess what that started? That started 11-1, 11-1, 10-2, 10-2, 11-2, 11-1, 12-1, 10-1-1, 10-2, 11-1, 11-1, 11-1, 12-0, 11-2. I mean, that's what that run was. That is insane, right?
It's the VHS era.
It's impressive. But even though Bobby began to slip, and we had a 4-loss season in 01 and a 5-loss season in 02 and a 3-loss season in 03, and then we started realizing the standard was switching. It was no longer 10-win seasons. It was trying to get to 9, 8. Florida State fans still held him accountable to what he had established. You're not a victim, as I say all the time, of your success. It may be impossible to live up to, but you're not a victim of your success. So when you lose 5 games in 05, I'm going to comment on it. When you lose 6 games in 06, I'm going to say, it's time for us to move on. This isn't going well. We lost 6 games the following year. We lost 4 and then 6 more. And we began to slip, and you knew things had to change. But they did change. And Jimbo wins 10 games, and then he wins 9, then he wins 12, then he wins 14, and we won a national championship. And you're reminded of the advantages, of the standard, of when things are, as I always say, operating at peak efficiency. What's possible here are national championships, undefeated seasons, and conference titles. Littered the draft with NFL talent and All-Americans. That's what's possible. Do I think that in the modern era, where things have changed, that we're ever going to have anything close to 14 consecutive years in the top 4? No, it's never been done before or since. It won't be done again, I don't believe. Do I think that I should expect them to win 12 games every year? No, but I do think it's not unreasonable for Florida State in this conference. Now, when we move to the Big Ten or the SEC, we'll have to recalibrate. By definition, we will. Those are 2 better conferences in the ACC, period. But if you go every year in the ACC and you look at the automatic wins on your schedule, you're playing at worst in a given year, 4 tough games.
And in that existence, this will be my 20th season since I arrived here as a freshman. We have lost 6 or more games, 6 or more, not 4, 6 or more games 9 times
It's
in
absurd.
19 seasons.
It's absurd.
So I'm just a lot more
you got stuck during the lost decade when coach was no longer what he was. And then you had to watch Jimbo build it back up, but you got to see that. Now, obviously, you're out of school at that point, but you got to see that. And then inexplicably, and this is a little unlucky.
Our best season when I was here as an undergrad was 9-4 in 2008.
Yeah.
That's the best.
And just when you got your hopes up after that Champs Sports Bowl win, we turned around and went 7-6 the next year. I'll tell you something now, Tom, that I think it's reasonable of me and any other Florida State fan, knowing the investment that this program makes in football, that we should expect 9 wins minimum every year. If you can't do that, you get fired. That's what I believe. Now, I know, again, you have to consider circumstance. Mike comes in after Jimbo drives this into a wall, and then Willie takes over and doesn't improve it, and the situation behind the scenes was not good, and so they make a move. And so Mike comes in after a 7-loss season, a 7-loss season, and a 6-loss season, and the tumult that comes with coaching staff changes and the lack of ability to recruit because of a pandemic and everything else that happens. So what is it? You have to be patient in that moment. Very, very patient. And I was. This isn't one of those unreasonable things. I'm like, well, what's he supposed to do? I mean, let's consider 2021 his first full year then. Let's just do that, right? And he has a losing season. Am I mad about it? No. Was I happy? No. But I understood. It's on the heels of all those other losing seasons, and he got screwed by the inability to make connections in the high school ranks. So I gave him time, rightfully. And what did he do? He proved us all right. He proved the university right. He proved those of us who thought he was going to be a good coach because we saw what he did at Memphis and we knew his career path. He won 10 games and he won 13 games. And we're like, there it is. There's somebody else who's pressing the right buttons at a place where you can win and win big. And he's winning big. He's winning big. Here we go. There's no way to have expected to happen what happened, but it doesn't mean we should just lower our standards to like some sort of like, if they go 7-5. No, man. No, not here. This is 7-5 at Wake is a hell of a season. 7-5 at Duke is a hell of a season. 7-5 at Pitt these days is a hell of a season.
I'm not arguing that the standards should be lowered because by definition, 2 of Bobby's 3 successors has had an undefeated season here at Florida State. 2 of the 3 successors through his era.
Yeah. And we won a subsequent national title post Bobby, which I think was very important to show we weren't a one-coach program. Yes.
Again, yeah. So Jimbo had 2 undefeated regular seasons, and Mike has had 1 undefeated regular season.
Yeah.
So it's there. I'm not lowering the standard per se. I'm just accepting the reality that it's been a coin flip for the last 20 years that we're going to be awful or really good, because you're talking about 9 wins or more in the 19 seasons since I got on campus, 9 of those. So we've had 9 seasons where we've basically touched double digits, and then 9 seasons where we've lost 6 or more times.
Yeah,
it's a coin flip.
We've been helter-skeltery.
And I hate coin flips. I want to know 100 one way or the other. So that's what I want this season to be. Either we fly to those heights, that cruising altitude of 35,000 feet, and we're going to be smooth here for the next 2. Yes, let's go there. Or into the side of the mountain. I
don't want to go to the side of the mountain. We went into the side of the mountain last year, somehow survived it, and we got back on a plane and go to another mountain. I'm not doing it.
Well, how about 6-6? We go to a bowl game. We won that bowl game, 7-6. No, man, we don't need that. I don't need 8-5. I don't need 9-4. You win a bowl, you're 8-4, and then you win the bowl game, and it's like, well, great, you beat Southern Miss, awesome. 32-21.
This is where we get into the realities of the financial difficulties and the problems we have. I believe if you don't win 8 games this year, then you should fire Mike. I don't know that they will. I mean, if he wins 7, they may keep him, but I don't know who anybody who holds Florida State to a standard of winning and being great in college football cannot walk out of this season if they go 7-5. Go, all right. I mean, you can't. You are somebody who just likes average football. You might as well start watching, William and Mary or something. I don't know. But I mean, this is Florida State, man. We are amongst the creme de la creme, the upper crust of college football.
Right. Yeah. I say this is Florida State, man. We've been Jekyll and Hyde for 20 years. That's better than what Miami's been.
We got unlucky with the Jimbo thing again. I want to point that out. We were on our way to being dynastic again, but I don't want to relitigate this, and it's unfortunate. And I mean this from a human standpoint. I think it's very unfortunate. Jimbo had a real tough stretch in his personal life, and I think it greatly affected his ability to sustain excellence here. I think I think he came undone, and some of those things were profoundly tragic. So I'm not making a mockery of that. I'm saying, I think the man ended up having a crisis of confidence and a nervous breakdown, and it affected his personality. He was always a little quirky, and yeah, that's and the next thing you know, you got a Christmas tree on the corner, and you're going, well, what just happened? We won 29 games. What do we do? What is happening? That doesn't normally happen. That is really unlucky.
We are the unluckiest program in the history of football.
No, I'm not saying that, but we got that is, you would admit, that is crazy. You go 12, 14, and 13. Those are the win totals in 3 years in a row.
Yeah, that 14 team laid the groundwork, though. That was the problem.
Things were starting to fall apart, and we know, again, what was going on there. Frustrating. Chef Cameron, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
Two Tallahassee women have pleaded guilty to... injuries and transported to Tallahassee Memorial. No update has been given on his condition, except that he is stable. This is Rachel Anae with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update. Brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Frobley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times this afternoon with a chance of thunderstorms. Daytime highs approaching 92, winds out of the north around 5 miles per hour. Mainly clear skies develop with fog at times tonight. Slight chance of thunderstorms. Lows dip down to about 75. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, it's 92 degrees.
Hey, you, can't you read the sign? It says, keep off the grass. Oh, but I just wanted to feel it. Excuse me? I wanted to feel what it was like to have an amazing lawn like you do. It always looks so good, even in the summertime. How do you do it, neighbor? They're called Lawn Johns. They come once a week. Maybe you should give them a call so you can tell other people to stay off your lawn. How's that sound? Ooh, yes. I would love to tell people to stay off my lawn. For the very best in lawn care, call the Lawn Johns at 850-322-2567. Stay off my lawn.
There is no Bigfoot, Eddie. Would you stop with that nonsense?
There's a Bigfoot, Jeff.
I wish there were. By the way, I don't want you to point to me as the guy that takes all the fun out of the room. I wish there was the Loch Ness Monster. I wish there was the Bigfoot. I wish there was the Chupacabra. All the things.
They're all mythical except for the Bigfoot. The Sasquatch.
The Bigfoot?
The Bigfoot. There's big feet. There's lots of them.
So like different, breeds, like different kinds.
There's like, families. There's different families. And,
so there's if they're in the snow, you call them a Sasquatch.
Or the Yeti, right?
Yeah,
and then here in Florida, that's a skunk ape. And, but
never heard that one. By the way, why do you think it's real? We would have found them by now.
They're the hide and seek champions of the world. Nobody finds the Bigfoot.
I think you believe in Bigfoot.
I do believe in Bigfoot.
You don't believe.
I believe in Bigfoot.
Don't tell anybody you believe in Bigfoot.
I would go look for Bigfoot, but he scares me.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Really quickly, we'll get into ISF and Solve for the Future here. You can help your company solve for the future with its employees attending a leadership summit that ISF is promoting. This is the Global Leadership Summit. It is an awful lot of impactful speakers. It is an awful lot to learn about. It is an awful lot of fun based on who's speaking. By the way, Nick Saban will be speaking at this thing as well. The summit is held August 7th through the 8th, features a dynamic list of speakers and insights from world-renowned voices in leadership. I mentioned Nick Saban. They've also got Craig Groeschel, the best-selling author and founder of several books on leadership, global advocate and humanitarian Christine Kane, John Acuff, top 100 leadership speaker and author, who's actually a really funny guy too, New York Times bestseller, John Maxwell, several, obviously, great speakers and teachers about leadership. Now, here's what you need to know. Students, teachers, nurses, first responders, you save a ton on your ability to sit down and watch this summit. If you are able to get involved and want to be a part of the Leadership Summit, it's $120 for those groups, teachers, nurses, and first responders. You save a bunch with the discounts that come there. Spots are limited for this. Here's what you want to do. You want to register and learn more at isf.com. Click the GLS tab and claim your seat now. Tallahassee, this is your moment. Invest in yourself, empower your team, lead with purpose. We'll see you at the GLS. Go to isf.com and click on the GLS tab. All right, solving for the future. Yeah, we've done this a lot, by the way, in the last, the weeks. In June, we did it in May. We've talked a ton about what? We've talked a ton about the fact that you've got to embrace Tommy Castellanos, the runner. My question mark isn't that whether or not they're going to do that. I would ask you this question. Think it's 60-40, or do you think it's more like 65-35 run pass?
Ooh, I think you're looking at 70-30, and let me finish here. 70-30 with at least an RPO element in the play.
I see. Yeah.
I think it's that much. And there could be a bubble outlet, there could be a seam throw, it could be whatever combo route combination that Gus wants to cook up. But I think it's not going to be straight play action. Because sometimes you could tell from the quarterback's body language that this is just for show. This is not really an RPO. They just want the linebackers to creep up, but this is always a called pass because they're trying to get over the linebacker's head. That's different than a true RPO. I think they're going to put the ball in his hands for an RPO that much, as long as he's healthy. And as long as the situation in the game is neutral. If you're down 20, or even if you're up 20, if it's lopsided either way, you're not going to be throwing the ball. And, if you're up. If you're down, then you are going to be throwing the ball. So I think in these neutral situations, 70-30 at minimum, an RPO element of the play.
It's kind of funny we're doing this in reverse because I'll ask you this. I've had this on my mind as well. Speaking of solving for the future, does he stay healthy? He's 5'9", maybe. And he's not a big kid. You're going to run him to death. Does he stay healthy?
I think looking at the way that – so you could look at this in the Alabama game. Going to be a great indicator if he's going to stay healthy. Not every quarterback run is created equal.
Correct.
In the way that the quarterback avoids contact. If it's in between and it's not in a deciding moment of the game. So let's call it second drive. And we've got a design run for Tommy. It's off of a run fake to the running back. And here we go. He's sweeping around the right side, and there's a linebacker bearing down on him. He's already got 5 yards. Does he fight for 8 through contact, or does he just slide, get down? That decision is going to help inform my choice on whether or not he makes it through the season. Because if he chooses in that moment to lower the shoulder or to just try and juke the guy, that's not sustainable. But if he gets down or he gets out of bounds in those situations, I feel very good about his chances of being able to hold up for 12 games.
I find it fascinating because the reason I ask isn't just that it's imperative that he stay healthy and that they run him, and that's a lot to ask for a little guy. I would say the other part of this is that I'm really curious, how deep into the season would we be if the injury, let's say he gets hurt in week 6. I'm not obviously, I hope he didn't get hurt at all. I hope he has a great season. And I'm really, really knocking on wood that he stays healthy because I think he's our best chance. But let's say he gets knocked out of a game in week 6 or 7.
That's about Pitt. That's around the Pitt part of the schedule.
I wouldn't be surprised if we were that far into the season if they didn't go to Kevin Sperry.
Oh, I don't know. I that could happen. I think that's because of spring camp. That's within the realm of possibility. But he's going to have to follow it up with the fall camp. And
he's just a better fit for the offense than Brock Gunn is.
You got to measure his mentality. I think those 2 games in September against Kent and Commerce or East Texas A&M are going to give them an indication of what they can do. Both Glenn and Sperry, because it's not like Glenn's not mobile. I hear you. Sperry is unsullied, right?
He's also the guy, but he's also the guy that ran something similar to this and really seems to have an inclination as to how to run it. Let's also not forget he's over 200 pounds. He's not a small kid.
It's a system that you can access the field quicker too.
That's what I mean.
But I
think not complex passing combinations here.
I think that they're projecting very nicely for Sperry right now. But I mean,
That's why I said week 7.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be early.
But he's going to have to prove it still, in fall camp. And he's going to have to prove it. I would think you're going to try and get both he and Glenn on the field in games 2 and 3 this season.
If life's been a little crazy for you lately and you want to calm down, let's go see my friends over there at Cornbread Hemp and CBD Gummies is what I'm talking about. Cornbread Hemp CBD Gummies are made to help you feel better, whether it is stress, discomfort, maybe just a little relaxation. They only use the best part of the hemp plant, the flower, for the purest and most potent CBD, formulated to help relieve discomfort, stress, and sleeplessness. That's a big one. A lot of us struggle with the sleeping. CBD gummies will help with that. Right now, Jeff Cameron Show listeners can save 30% on their first order. Just head to cornbreadhemp.com/warchant. Use code warchant at checkout. That's cornbreadhemp.com/warchant. Use the code warchant to save 30% off. There you go. There you go. And I'm solving for the future that way too.
You grilling out already this week?
I haven't yet, but
tonight?
I will. No, well, I don't know about tonight. I don't know what I'm going to do tonight. I'm going to enjoy some baseball tonight. I'm just going to sit back and relax and revel in the idea of not going to work tomorrow.
It's kind of a dealer's choice evening for food.
It is. Could go out, could chill at the house.
You could grill early, and there's nothing wrong with grilling back-to-back days.
Oh, and I've been known. I've grilled back-to-back days. I've done it all, buddy. But I didn't pull out the meats from the garage freezer that I needed to. Time to pull out the meat. Hey, Jeff. Final hour, bonus hour forthcoming. Stay with us. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.